Super serious, no talk, just grind. Just grind. Let's
Just
go.
grind
The train is
for-
going. The train is moving. Let's go. The train is moving.
Damn, man. It's so good. It is
And I'm like,
exactly-
okay, guys, it's just a game.
Hey guys, today I wanted to share my updated open world farm build for the Wizard class. The idea behind this build was that I wanted to use the maximum mobility possible for the class without sacrificing too much damage. So when they nerfed the Ephemeral Visage helmet, I decided that I want to use the teleport skill with the crushing weight helmet, which basically gives you increased damage after you teleport for almost 5 seconds. You get this 10% extra damage. And obviously I still want to use the Sprite Spark chest with the Lightning Nova skill, because this is just too good. It gives you 50% increased movement speed. The idea behind this build is to use these two essence together to just gain the maximum mobility and become a complete speed demon in open world farming. So let's just take a look at the other essence that I'm using. So I'm using the new Disintegrate combo, which you guys will know from my last video. It's the Crystalline Shadow, which gives you an Arcane Deputy which shoots the laser. This has an auto aim, and it's really good because it can hit enemies behind you as you're moving forward. And to have 100% uptime with the shoulders, you need this pant, which is the Hasten Oblivion, and this gives you a Disintegrate cooldown. It's reduced by 1.6 seconds every time you damage enemies, up to a maximum of 5 seconds, which will allow you to keep a full uptime of the Disintegrate skill. The second damage dealer in the build is Arcane Torrent, and this is very strong with the Rift Carver essence. So this auto channels a Chaotic Orb which moves with you, and it will fire missiles at enemies. And then for the first offhand we need the Frenetic Spark, because this gives the Lightning Nova cooldown, which allows us to keep 100% uptime of Lightning Nova. And for the second main hand, we're using Entropic Edge. This buffs the damage of Disintegrate. And the second offhand, which is optional, but I feel like it helps a lot, is the Charge Stigma. So this increases the primary attack of Electrocute. We're not using too much primary attack in this build, but it is useful when we meet yellow packs or orange packs, or the Rift Guardians, which will have a bit more health. So this really helps to allow us to kill them as fast as possible. For the set pieces, I'm using 2-piece Vithu. This is a must because you need 100% uptime of Lightning Nova, and the 30% beneficial duration will allow you to achieve that. For the other set pieces, I'm using 4-piece Grace set and 2-piece Banquet set. So I did test using 4-piece Isatar and also 4-piece Gloomguide, because obviously teleport is a dash skill, so 4-piece Gloomguide could have been good, but both Gloom and Isatar perform slightly worse than Flagellant. They are good options still, and if you do have the good rolls for them, then I would still suggest using them. And talking about the rolls for the gear, you really need cooldown rolls and also movement speed rolls. So since we're not using slow time actually gives you, with the Ephemeral Visage, it gives you a 20% movement speed buff, but because we're losing this, we really need to have Blood-Soaked Jade in this build, as well as 10% movement speed from the set pieces. So make sure that you have movement speed rolled just to get an extra 10%, because you need a minimum of 20% movement speed, so that once you press your Lightning Nova, you'll be capped at the 70% movement speed, which is what you want. So just make sure that before you press Lightning Nova, you've got this 20% sheet movement speed for your character. For the cooldown, we need at least 12% cooldown reduction, because we want to have 100% uptime of Lightning Nova. This is the most crucial because you have only 18.6% here, and to reach the 30% cap for the skill cooldown, you need an extra 12%. So make sure that I have 14% here, and it's helping for my it's helping with my teleport cooldown and with my Arcane Torrent cooldown, but you need a minimum of 12%. 12% should be fine for this build. The other really important attribute is beneficial duration. You should try to get it everywhere you can. So that's belt, boots, chest, pants, and reforges, obviously. I don't have it on all of my reforges, but I'd suggest at least picking up another 30% beneficial, so that you can take it up to 60% with 2-piece Vithus, and this build will perform a lot better if you have that. So as for the legendary gems, I'm not going to spend too long on it, but basically try to get as many offensive gems as possible. And if you don't have offensive gems, then try use the auxiliary. For example, I didn't want to use Echoing Shade, and instead I opted for Void Spark. But the most important thing is to have Blood-Soaked Jade in your setup. Like, you can have the other 7 gems can be whatever you like, but just make sure you have the Bloodsoaked Jade for the extra 10% movement speed. And also, I would suggest if you have a 1-star setup, try Salid's Weakening. This is probably one of the most underrated gems for open world farming because it gives you a huge damage buff, even bigger damage buff than Berserker's Eye. Once you kill an elite, you'll have this 100% uptime of this increased damage buff, so that's a very good 1-star gem to use. Other than that, you can obviously go for dot gems. Viper's Bite would work fine, Everlasting Torment would work fine, Seeping Bow would work fine. Just make sure that you have a decent gem setup. For the Awakenings, I would suggest going for the Helmet, which gives 10% teleport cooldown. The Shoulders and the Pants gives 10% Disintegrate, they're also very good. The main hand, Rift Carver, this will give you 10% Arcane Torrent damage, it's very, very good. Aside from that, the others aren't really that impressive. I think this one only gives energy consumption for Disintegrate, which isn't that good. This one could be okay. It gives you 10% electrocute damage, but these other ones will give you lightning nova damage or lightning nova cooldown, which isn't very useful. You don't need more cooldown on it once you have the 100% uptime. So again, I'm going to reiterate, guys, the two most important things in this build. The first thing is to make sure that you have this 100% uptime. So if you press lightning nova, you can see that I have virtually no downtime of pressing it again, and I'm always going to be in this form where I can move freely. This is really important in this build, so you can stay in town and just test this. Just make sure that you have 100% uptime, which you should have from your beneficial effect duration as well as your cooldown on your setup. The other thing is with the 10% damage bonus that you get from the Crushing Weight helmet, you can actually see this in the skill bar. So my one lasts for 8 seconds, and with teleport, if you have 12% cooldown, then your teleport will have a 9-second cooldown, I believe. So you'll have almost 100% uptime with this 10% buff if you cast teleport once every 8 seconds. So you want to be casting it roughly once every 8 seconds. My cooldown is about 9 seconds, so I have almost 100% uptime of it. But you just want to make sure that you have this buff online as much as you can. It's not a must, but it really helps with your damage output for the build. Good thing about teleport is that you can also teleport through Waller mobs or Jailer mobs, which you can't really do with the traditional open world setup. So this is another reason why I really wanted to go for this build, and I feel like it really performs very well. For the Paragon tree, I decided to use Warden tree, and this is because it gives you a size increase which can go up to 8%, and this gives you more mobility and more movement speed, so I'd really recommend using this tree. If you don't want to use Warden, then Treasure Hunter would work okay. You'd just be slightly slower. And if you need more damage and you have very low resonance, then I suggest either using Vanquisher, or if you're not going to get hit too much, then Duelist is also fine. Weaver won't work very well in this build because you're not going to be using primary attack too much unless you're facing a yellow or orange mob and you need the extra electrocute, the damage from electrocute to finish those mobs off. So for the Warband room, you obviously want to take the extra size, so make sure you take the increased block chance and make sure you have this Shepherd Burden Remnant, which gives you 15% increase size. This will greatly improve your movement speed and your efficiency in open world farming. If you're farming Inferno 5 or 6, then I'd recommend to have an armor pen of between 3k and 3.5k minimum, so that you have at least a 50% increase bonus to your crit hit damage. Other than that, you need to obviously be above the combat rating for the difficulty, and the higher you are, the more damage bonus you're going to get, so I think you can get up to 11% damage increase that you can see in the inventory tooltip. That's about all that I have for this one, guys. In my opinion, this is one of the fastest, if not the fastest build in the game currently for open world farming. I think the only build which kind of matches it in speed would be the Leap Barbarian with the Endless Sprint. Right now, this is my go-to build for open world farming and daily activities. If you do give it a go, then let me know in the comments below how you guys like the build. But for now, I'll be signing off. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.